Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing the phenomenal Kimberly Rhodes. Miss Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm the one who has the pleasure. Anytime I get to talk to the amazing Nia.
You're crazy. No, because you are absolutely amazing, and I'm going to tell everyone why you are amazing. I'm going to read your short bio, but just get into it, how you are so impactful. And you were impactful before what I'm going to read, but you are really impacting the world tremendously. So Miss Kim Rhodes, she is the co-founder with her daughter of the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. They are a mother and daughter duo who want to be the end of breast cancer and dream of inspiring pink lemonade stands all over the world, globally and nationwide. They want to fund research that will prevent and cure breast cancer. The campaign includes breast cancer education and raising awareness about the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which is #1 rated breast cancer charity and the largest private funder of breast cancer research in the world. This beautiful lady right here is a breast cancer thriver, former corporate executive. She is an attorney. She's a fitness instructor. And of course, she had to put on another hat. She's a wife and mother of 4. Amazing. Amazing.
Why, thank you. I'm also the administrator at Loyola Marymount University in the career office. I'm the director of employee relations and a lecturer in the business school.
So she just added 13 more hats. Amazing.
Fun.
Amazing.
Fun.
So with all of your hats that you wear, who do you say that you are?
Oh my gosh, I'm just doing the best I can do every day to make the world a better place and live every moment, because every day and every moment is a gift.
I love that. Talk to us about the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. What is it? And what was the purpose of creating it? Why was it created?
Well, thank you for asking. The Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge is a 501c3 nonprofit. And we launched and run a nationwide campaign, which we hope to bring global, that is intended to raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research by engaging and empowering communities nationwide to take action, to raise awareness about breast cancer generally, and to raise funds for breast cancer research.
That is amazing. Now, what made you create the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge? Why that?
It's a true, authentic, organic story. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I'm the 3rd generation in my family to face breast cancer, my father's mother was lost to breast cancer. And I was 10 when she passed away. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 42. My sister was diagnosed with breast cancer at 50. She had a single mastectomy, and then at 51, they found breast cancer in her other breast, so she had 2 mastectomies. Even my mother-in-law, who I know is not blood related to me, but is blood related to my daughter, faced breast cancer. My husband's mother faced breast cancer. So our family has been significantly impacted. And long before I was diagnosed, I was supporting breast cancer causes, sort of like all of us. We all know someone who's faced breast cancer. It was a big issue in our family. So we started doing the walks and raising money for breast cancer causes. long before I was diagnosed. And I don't have the BRCA gene. So I don't have the genetic predisposition that is known today to have breast cancer. And I thought maybe I wouldn't get it. I know that was wishful thinking on my part, but I thought maybe I wouldn't get it. And then late in my 40s, I was diagnosed. And at the time, I'm the mother of four. I had four children at home. The youngest of the four is my only daughter. Number four is a daughter. Her name is Bryn, and she was 6 at the time of my diagnosis. At age 7, she asked if she could make a lemonade stand. Now, for those who are parents out there, everybody knows that there's a certain age where all kids want to do lemonade stands. It sounds exciting to them. They see other kids doing it. So it wasn't just my daughter. All my kids wanted to make a lemonade stand at that age. So we talked about it and decided that it would be a great idea, but that she would donate the proceeds to a great cause. We're super lucky. We have what we need. And we, we're so thankful for our gifts every day. So she had a lemonade stand, and we decided to turn it pink because lemonade can be pink, and pink is typically associated with breast cancer causes. And we did some research, and we decided, even though we assumed that Bryn would, just raise a few dollars, she was 7. She was asking for 50 cents for the lemonade that she was selling. And even if she was just going to raise $10, we wanted it to go to the best cause. And we know that not all nonprofits, not all charities are created equal. Some are especially responsible. Some really align with your passion and mission. So when we found the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, we thought that that was well aligned with our dreams. Our dreams are to prevent and end breast cancer in our lifetime. The current stats are 1 in 8 women who will be diagnosed with breast cancer. It's the #1 cancer affecting women worldwide. So we decided to give the money to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation that we were able to raise through donations or purchases at the Pink Lemonade Stand. So 50 cents. Within 30 minutes, this was in New Jersey, in a beach town where we happened to be vacationing. 30 minutes of Bryn at age 7 standing on a busy corner in a small town. It was $100. People were coming by and stopping. Even if they didn't want lemonade, they were donating $5 and $10 and $20. No one donated 50 cents. But not only did they donate, but what we found is that people were wanted to share their stories. Like you, Nia, you have stories to share. You have done amazing work with creating a documentary about patients. You have lost a close friend to this disease. So, we're passionate about it like you are. So many people who stopped to talk to us felt the same. They wanted to tell us about their mother, their sister, their aunt, their neighbor. They really wanted to share the story. So it was also cathartic and meaningful, and a sort of a community empowerment effort, I thought. And so that was kind of the end of it. We donated $100, and then the next year, Bryn wanted to do it again, and she had a friend with her, and we were in the same place in the beach town where we normally vacation in the summer. And she and her friend did it again. It was over 4th of July weekend, so they had a couple of days. Instead of doing it once, they did it a couple of times. Instead of asking for 50 cents, they just told people, "Hey, this is a donation. This is a donation based. If you'd like to make a donation to Breast Cancer Research, please do. The lemonade is free." And so they, over 4th of July weekend, they stood out a couple of hours. They were 8 years old. If they then, said, "Hey, we're tired, we want to go to the beach," we left.
Right.
So a couple of hours, $1,000. And we've done it every year since. And that was 2017, every year since. And we've never raised less than $1,000.
Amazing.
Every year we've done the same stand in the same location. But in 2017, after that experience, and coincidentally at the same time, Bryn in 3rd grade had this wonderful 3rd grade teacher. Her name is Jennifer Gilbert. And one of Jennifer's passions is philanthropy. She's a 3rd grade teacher. She's extremely dynamic. And she asked students to do a full year project to choose a philanthropy and do a project that was aimed at supporting that philanthropy. And of course, Bryn chose the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and Jennifer Gilbert supported her. And after kind of a combination of Jennifer's class and her experiences at the Pink Lemonade Stand, and I am still in treatment now at this point because breast cancer treatment takes a long time. I had a double mastectomy. I was on tamoxifen. I had to actually have multiple reconstructive surgeries. So I was still in treatment. We talked about it and we thought, maybe we're not the only people who would love to do something like this. I mean, children and families all over the country love to do lemonade stands. Maybe there are other people who would like to turn their lemonade stand pink and support an important cause. The other thing is, if you're like Bryn and you're 6 or 7 years old and your mom is diagnosed with any kind of cancer, but particularly breast cancer, how can you help your 7? You can help your mom with household chores, you can be supportive, you can give lots of love. But it just in terms of, actionable
right.
Efforts, this was something that, kids can do, which is important. And so many kids are impacted by breast cancer because it's their mom, it's their aunt, it's their neighbor, it's their grandmother, it's someone they care about. So we thought, what if other people wanted to do it? So we just basically reached out to family and friends across the country and told them the idea. I said, hey, we're trying to get this going. So we call you. Hey, Nia, you're amazing. You're giving. You treat breast cancer patients. You care about so many causes. Is this something that you think you could bring to your community in Pennsylvania or in Delaware? And when we tried that effort in 2018, we had friends and family all over the country say yes.
Amazing.
So that's kind of how it started. And, we wanted to raise awareness because we didn't want it to just be our friends and family. That's not scalable. So we wanted to figure out, how would we get the word out? How would someone like Nia find out about us? So we all know it's social media, it's marketing. We didn't and still don't really retain any funds in the nonprofit. So we don't have any overhead. Everyone who works with us is a volunteer. So we started to call local news.
Amazing.
We called local news and we told them when an event was happening and invited them to come and cover the story. And what happened was local news all over the country were inspired by what Bryn had started and began to send their news crews to our events. And that helped us to get the word out. So if you do a Google search right now, or you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see news stories from local news all over the country. And it's rarely us. It's not us. It's you. You've been on local news. Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. And it's other supporters and volunteers nationwide who have embraced the mission, who've wanted to help, and who've agreed to be our spokespeople, because that's what makes the difference now. We can, all of a sudden, we can reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And then in 2019, we were invited to be on the Today Show.
Amazing.
And so we were able to reach millions of people by getting on national television, and we told our story on the Today Show. And at that time, we had raised $10,000, and we had inspired stands in 15 states. This was in 2019 when we were invited to be on the Today Show. So we had the chance to meet Jenna Bush Hager, and we told our story. Natalie Morales was she was filling in for Hoda at the time, and told our story. And that was when people that we didn't know started to make stands. People who saw us, we stood up a website. Didn't know anything about website development, but learned. We stood up a website, which and still out there. It's pinklemonadestandchallenge.org. And that website gives full instructions on how to host a lemonade stand. One of the pain points for people about giving money from a lemonade stand or giving donations from a lemonade stand to fund a charity is, how do you actually, a lot of times people want to give cash. Right. even though it's hard to believe that people still use cash, we cash, we accept Venmo, we accept credit cards it goes directly to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation website. So at the time, and I think technology has shifted, and there's been more innovation since then, but at the time, it was still a question for people. Volunteers, how do we get the money to the charity? Mm-hmm. So we suggested that people keep the money and donate an equal amount via the website using a credit card. And that made the difference for people. Now they understood, because it's not really okay to send cash in the mail. People don't feel comfortable with that. So that made it possible. So during the Today Show, another $10,000 was donated by Country Time Lemonade. So at that point, we got up to, suddenly we were at $20,000 right there. And since then, it's continued to grow. Of course, the pandemic put a damper on things. But we have, worked on coming back from the pandemic, and we've expanded not only to communities, which is still our primary focus, not only because it's great for fundraising, it's great for the charity, it's great for raising awareness about breast cancer research, and even detection and awareness. But we have branched out to corporate partners as well.
Amazing. Like the one behind you?
Like the one behind me and the one around my neck.
Tell us about those
Scott necklace.
Tell us about that.
So we know that the Breast Cancer Research Foundation works largely with corporations who want to donate. And one of the, potential hurdles for people is, where do you host a lemonade stand? Now, as a practical matter, we know that lemonade stands can be hosted anywhere. We've done them in parks. We've done them at sporting events. We've done them outside of businesses who are willing to welcome us. We've done them on street corners. I mean, we've done them in music venues. We've done them sort of all over the place. But people are a little bit intimidated sometimes about, how do I get permission for that? How does that work? So we've partnered with some national retailers who've allowed our volunteers to work with their store teams to host pink lemonade stands in their stores. One of those, and the first one, was Lilly Pulitzer. They have signature stores, which are independently owned franchisees. And some of them, it's in an opt-in model, have agreed to work with us and have hosted our volunteers in their stores. Many of them are survivors. Actually, Lilly Pulitzer specifically is a brand that, has a strong appeal to women. Mm-hmm. And they also make kids' clothes. So that's, a great fit for us, and we're grateful to them. We also have a partnership with Vineyard Vines. Vineyard Vines has a local location in Los Angeles, and a Girl Scout troop who was making a stand here asked the manager if they could make a stand outside of the store, and the manager said, sure. At the time, we didn't have any contacts at Vineyard Vines, but we did call local news, and Fox News came and covered the story. So that was exciting. Mm-hmm. I then sent that story on to Vineyard Vines, to their leadership team, and said, you should partner with us. And I just got lucky. At the time, Vineyard Vines was working with another breast cancer charity partner who was reorganizing and changing their model, and so left Vineyard Vines with an opening to work with another partner during October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, Vineyard Vines is a national retailer. Mm-hmm. They appeal to men, women, children, very broad appeal. They make all kinds of fashions. This shirt right here,
love it,
is Vineyard Vines. And Vineyard Vines was founded by two brothers, Shep and Ian Murray. The Murray brothers lost their mom, Nancy, to breast cancer, unfortunately. So they, like you and I, have a strong passion around breast cancer causes. And over the last 4 years, we've expanded our relationship with Vineyard Vines. The first year we did stands in 10 stores. Our volunteers went to 10 stores, worked with the store teams, and it was wonderful. Mm-hmm. And not only were direct donations accepted, but Vineyard Vines donated 10% of sales and gave 10% off to customers on the day of the event, which was fabulous.
Amazing.
It was amazing. The next year, Vineyard Vines asked all of their retail stores, they're all corporate owned, to host pink lemonade stands in stores on a particular day in October, which we deemed Pink Lemonade Day, and that was wonderful. They also gave a portion of online sales to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, 10% of sales, 10% of the face, the sale price of the item. And they gave 10% off. So that was year 2. And we have gotten some, news media to come out. We've gotten some volunteers to appear on morning shows and talk about it. Year 3, same thing, retail stores. But we were really excited this year. All Vineyard Vines locations, over 100 nationwide, including outlets, and they did an online sale of breast cancer awareness merchandise. 10% of all of that is being donated to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. For the first time this year, Vineyard Vines also issued a press release. We were super excited, talking about their support for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation through the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. So we're super grateful to Vineyard Vines and their whole team, who's been super supportive, all stores. Shep and Ian shared their personal story and connection to breast cancer. So that was really exciting. And then in last year, for the first time, we started working with Kendra Scott. Kendra Scott already has a model for supporting community philanthropy, where they work with local philanthropies and allow them to have in-store events and donate 20% of proceeds to the charity, which is wonderful. And so last year, Kendra Scott agreed to do that in as many stores as we could provide volunteers who wanted to host stands, and that was wonderful. They did it all on one day last year, and we raised $14,000 in one day. And this year, Kendra Scott did it again. More than 50 stores had pink lemonade stands. Some stores had them more than once, because we had multiple volunteer teams make stands in the same store on different days.
Amazing.
So we raised, again, more than $14,000 working with Kendra Scott, whose team was wonderful and very supportive. So we were excited about that. And then we've worked with some NFL teams as well.
That's huge.
It's huge. So one of the co-owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers is a breast cancer survivor. And she is very active. She's on the board of directors of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Her name is Cindy Citrone. And her daughter Gabrielle is also very, very involved, and her husband Rob. Their whole family is very supportive of those causes. And she heard about what we were doing, and she wanted to support us. So she arranged for us to host the first ever Pink Lemonade Stand at an NFL game. Every year, the NFL teams choose a game to designate as their crucial catch game. They donate to the American Cancer Society, but in addition to that, they also support community groups. And they allowed us to have a Pink Lemonade Stand there in 2023. And it was Cindy's idea. She called the Guinness Book of World Records and invited them to come. And during the Steelers Pink Lemonade Stand, we set the world record for the most funds ever raised at a Pink Lemonade Stand, over $53,000. And of course, we're on local news. Steelers have their own news channel and did a story on it. So that was super exciting. Bryn was there, my daughter. She was interviewed by local news. She's now 16 and taller than me. And then in 2024 as well, we contacted the Los Angeles Rams. We live in Los Angeles. We went to the Steelers game, but on the same day, volunteers in Los Angeles made a stand at the Rams game, who welcomed us to the Rams game, and we did a stand at their crucial catch game. And then this year, this is 25. In 24, which was last year, technically, but just a few months ago, we were invited by the New England Patriots to make a Pink Lemonade Stand at the Patriots game. So we were super excited about that. The Patriots, of course, everybody has a strong, connection to breast cancer causes, and the Patriots are no exception. And they were, couldn't have been kinder and more welcoming, and invited us to make a stand. So we headed to Boston from Los Angeles and made a stand at the Patriots game. So that's, that's kind of where we are today. We are at over $315,000 raised, but we're waiting for the Vineyard Vines team to report on what they were able to accomplish in October. So I know that that is going to go up, and probably significantly, when we have information for what we were able to raise in our partnership with Vineyard Vines. And as I mentioned, when we got to the Today Show, we were at 15 states. As of today, we're at 46 states where stands have been inspired. So we have 4 states to go to get to our goal of 50 states.
Amazing. I mean, what does this all mean to you? I mean, just listening to how it was sort of this cute, I'm helping mommy, to this national, what does this mean to you? This is mind blowing.
Well, I mean, I feel very lucky that it worked. It was something that was working. And so the more it works and the more people embrace it, the more you want to pursue it. And I really have to say, I know you invited me on the podcast to talk about the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge, but I have to say, it's really you and a few key supporters like you throughout the country that have made this possible. You saw us on social media, you contacted me, you've been incredibly supportive, include the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge in all the events that you host for any kind of philanthropy or charity that you're involved in. And then there's a few other amazing supporters like you who've agreed to be on our board of advisors. Our campaign has been fueled in large part by college student interns who work for us during the summer. And summer is the time people are really excited about making lemonade stands. You've been a mentor to our college students. I mean, you've made a huge difference. We have a handful of NIAs all over the country who've helped us. So it's wonderful to be able to make some sort of contribution. To be honest, me and my family are just, we're angry. Mm-hmm. Breast cancer has affected so many people. It was a tough one to face, and it makes you feel helpless.
Right.
It makes you feel powerless, and it makes you feel hopeless. Mm-hmm. So doing something, even if it requires a lot of effort and energy and sleepless nights and sweat, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better. It makes my family feel better. It makes Bryn feel better. And then importantly, if anything we do makes a difference, whether it's helping people because it's cathartic for them to talk about it, because it gives them agency to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Breast cancer is a really hard subject to talk about. You talk about it every day because you treat patients who face breast cancer. But I think for a lot of people, even people who have been impacted directly by breast cancer, boy, that's a tough one. Mm-hmm. And then just because it affects the breast versus another part of the body, I know that it's more acceptable to talk about it today, but there's still some level of taboo around it because, it's an organ that's associated with, things other than cancer, that may not be comfortable for people. But if you want to solve something, if you want to research and cure an illness, you've got to be able to talk about it. That's step one. So if anything that we're doing results in people talking about this disease, raising it in their communities, being aware of it, being open to having discussions about it and donating to it, that is amazing. And then if we raise hundreds of thousands of dollars and that makes any positive difference for the furtherance of research that will prevent and cure breast cancer, that's fabulous. And I will also say that 40% of the funds that Breast Cancer Research Foundation invests in research goes toward investigating therapies, treatments, and prevention for metastatic breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So as we both know, metastatic cancer is the lethal part of cancer. It moves around the body and it attacks vital organs. And that's what ultimately can, lead to people, succumbing to cancer. And therefore, the metastatic research that Breast Cancer Research Foundation funds, if there's any progress in that arena, it should help all cancers that become lethal because of metastasis. All solid tumor cancers, other types of cancer, so prostate, liver, kidney, brain. So, I think that our efforts to fund research and support research go beyond breast cancer, although that's our sort of main passion and mission.
Understood. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, during all this, you still had to be a mom, you still had to be a wife, you still had to work, you still had to be a friend. How, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard people say that once you are diagnosed with cancer, you are always sort of, I don't want to be dim, but sort of a cancer patient. So how do you continue to be a mom, be a wife, work, and still have time for the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge, and still be an attorney, and still lecture, and still, how do you balance all of these hats and all effectively? How?
Well, of course, I'm gonna, do the self-deprecating thing and say I do it badly, Nia.
Please don't, because don't do that, Miss Kim. I'm just gonna say, how do you balance it? Because right now, I'm not calling her a liar, but she does things very effectively. So how do you balance it all?
Well, I will tell you that you're right about that. When you have faced cancer, then, that never goes out of your mind. It's always in the back of my mind. And honestly, every time I have a backache, every time I have a headache, I think about it and I worry about it. And I see my oncologist still on an annual basis. It never really goes away. And breast cancer specifically is known for doing a boomerang. And thank God I'm 9 years out. So 5 years is sort of a milestone for patients. However, really it's never gone. I don't think you ever feel like it's not going to come back. So that's always a worry. Balance. I do my very best. And I probably take on more than I should. But I feel like if I can make a positive difference in any area, then that's a win for me. I might not accomplish everything I want to accomplish as a mom, as a professional, as a nonprofit co-founder, but if I can make progress, I try to, feel good about that success. That said, I still kind of beat myself up often about not doing more. And I'm sure you do the same, because you and I are very similar in taking on a lot of things. And I guess on the converse, on the question of like, how do you do it all? Because I could ask you the same question. I always say to myself, what would I give up? What would I give up? I'm not going to be a wife. Right. No, I mean that commitment. I'm going to be a wife. I'm not going to be a mom.
Right.
You have children. You don't have a choice in the matter. I need to put a roof over the head. I want to make sure my kids have an education. I worked really hard to, complete law school and, make my way as a professional. So I wasn't going to give up on my career. And then, breast cancer just became a really high priority for me, because I felt like I wanted to make a positive contribution in some way. And, I sort of wish I went to med school, and I wish I were, someone like you who treats breast cancer patients directly and really helps them every day. But I didn't make that choice. I made a different choice. So this is a way that I can help and make a positive difference, and also something I can do with my daughter. And, I'm realistic. If my grandmother, mother, sister, me, and my mother-in-law had breast cancer, and that 1 in 8 women get breast cancer, even if they didn't have breast cancer in their history, in their family, then my daughter's chances of breast cancer are extremely high. So I feel for her and others her age, she's a high schooler now. I really want to work on with her on finding at least better treatments and therapies. I'm going to tell you this, and that you already know it. When my grandmother had breast cancer, 1950s or 60s, she had a mastectomy. I still remember what that looked like, disfigurement. At the time that my grandmother and mother had breast cancer, mastectomy was the main treatment. There wasn't really chemotherapy for my grandmother, and I don't think it was common with my mother either, but they both had mastectomies, and there was no reconstructive surgery, and it was not paid for by insurance. My mother had 7 post-mastectomy reconstructive surgeries that she paid for out of her own pocket because there was no medical insurance for that. And so we've made progress. There is medical insurance, but I'll tell you this, I had a double mastectomy, and I was, diagnosed in the 2000s. I had double mastectomy. So we need more treatments. That's a pretty barbaric treatment. And it's the same treatment they gave my grandmother 75 years ago. We need more treatments. We need better treatments. We need less invasive treatments, less toxic treatments. Chemotherapy is, really one of the most toxic treatments. I'm glad there is a treatment. That's what my oncologist said to me. He said, I understand you don't want to go through this, but you're lucky that there is a treatment for you, because there's no treatment for some cancers. But I think the Breast Cancer Research Foundation has funded some programs that have made a substantial difference. Herceptin is a treatment for HER2 positive breast cancer, which prior to Herceptin, that was, there were very few treatments. A fast moving, aggressive cancer that most patients did not survive. And now people are living, lives because of Herceptin. So I know it can make a big difference. I just need it to happen faster.
I completely understand, like yesterday faster.
Yes.
With everything that you balance. So first I want to say that you technically did go to med school because unfortunately you were diagnosed with breast cancer. Because I can tell you a lot of patients who have unfortunately gone through the diagnosis, and I won't say necessarily know more, but they have a different perspective. They actually have been through it. So I'm not going to take away your words, don't say, but you are a professional, you are a medical professional because you were diagnosed, and daily you take care of people. I mean, look at how much money you are putting into the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, who are saving lives. So you are doing the work daily. So I want to make sure you get your flowers.
Why, thank you.
And I also want to make sure, do you take care of yourself? Because as a busy mom, wife, professional, entrepreneur, nonprofit co-founder, do you take time for Kim Rhodes?
I do. I'm a fitness instructor, as you mentioned.
Yes. So do you prioritize that too?
I exercise. I try to do that probably 5 days a week. And I try to, maintain a healthy diet the best I can. Every now and again, my guilty pleasure is I'll go to the spa. I love to get a massage. That's really helpful for relaxing. I take a vacation once in a while. So yes, I take care of myself.
Okay, that's good. That's why you look like you're 12. So that makes sense. Yes.
Close.
That makes sense. What is the future for the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge? So I know you said global. What's in between global and be the end to breast cancer? So that's the goal. But is there anything in between that you see the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge doing or being a part of?
So I think in the last few years, we have done more, we have done some investing. We accept donations into the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge, a 501c3 nonprofit, from corporate donors, not from the public. So if anyone is having a Pink Lemonade stand in the community or with any of our, retail partners, all of those funds go to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation pretty much directly. They go directly onto the website, or they go to our Venmo account, and all of those funds go to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Mm-hmm. But if a corporation would like to donate to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, we will use that money to help to fund some of our efforts. And the main thing that we're using those funds for is marketing and managing our social media channels so that people can become aware of the breast cancer, of the Breast Cancer Cancer Research Foundation, and importantly of the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. So we do reinvest in marketing, which is kind of new because we're all volunteers. So no one is getting paid. We don't have a payroll or any employees. So we are making an investment there. We have some t-shirts. You're wearing one that we'll send to some supporters. Those are the kinds of things that we invest in. We're going to continue to run the summer internship program. Would love to have additional NFL partners.
Eagles, just saying.
Yes, would love to have the Eagles. We do have a contact at the Eagles, and we did write to them this year. We didn't hear back, but we're not going to stop trying.
Yeah.
Would love to have a Pink Lemonade stand. Do you know anyone who would help us with a Pink Lemonade stand in Philadelphia?
I have to think about that. I have to think about that because although, like, you know, I love the story of the Steelers, but I'm an Eagles fan, so it's like, oh, but I'm glad that they helped.
Right.
So the, you know, the drive in me, the competition, I'm like, Eagles, okay, we're going to do it. Pink Lemonade
Right.
at the Eagles.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Well, I think the more NFL teams that support us, the more others will want to, you know, jump on board and we'll say yes. And, you know, I would love it if we could be closer with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. You know, I had hoped, to be honest, that the Breast Cancer Research Foundation would eventually take the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge under their wing and run it as a national campaign that is sort of owned by, and not literally, but figuratively, the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So that was one of my hopes. I'm not sure it's consistent and aligned with their strategic vision, but I will say about the Breast Cancer Research Foundation that their primary focus has been since their inception. It was founded by Estee Lauder's founder or family entrepreneur, owner, Evelyn Lauder, who's a breast cancer survivor herself. And they've always been very focused on corporate partnerships, which makes a lot of sense because they can raise a lot of money working with just one entity, which allows them to keep their administrative costs low, which is why they're one of the highest rated breast cancer charities. So they only use 10 cents of every dollar to grow their own organization. They give almost 90 cents of every dollar actually to the researchers and to grants, which is amazing. But running a community-based operation is more expensive and time consuming and requires more resources. So they haven't really had any community-based effort that is like a walk. They do galas and luncheons and things like that, but they haven't done the walk type of 5K type of thing. So I had always hoped and still hoped that, you know, one of the segues into immortality for the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge would be to become a Breast Cancer Research Foundation related or affiliated nonprofit. And that's why you can see BCRF is actually inside of our logo.
Yes, I love that.
So that's what I hope for the future. I think for right now, we are just working on continuing to build and grow and establish our model. I think that one of the things that's a natural progression and direction for the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge is to continue to build out educational component of the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. And that is something really exciting coming up. A children's author whose name is Nikki Maloney has written books. It's a series called The Peppermints, and it's absolutely adorable. I would say grade school age children, students are the audience mostly. And it's about the Peppermints, who are a family. It's 4 kids. It takes place in the 1950s. And they do all kinds of things, adventures. They go to Hawaii. They go to the zoo. They go to a Thanksgiving Day parade. And it's all around sort of what the kids in the family are experiencing and their relationship with their parents. And it's a heartwarming series. It's wonderful. And Bryn is a little old for it now at 16, but when she was younger, we read it together. And Nikki Maloney, the author, is a friend and was a neighbor of ours.
Amazing.
So, and Nikki has written 8 series books, and the 9th one is going to be the Peppermints Pink Lemonade Stand.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Coming out this summer. So, bless her for taking on this challenge, Nia. the Peppermint's mom is going to be diagnosed with breast cancer
And has 4 children.
and has 4 children. So that is a really tough subject to take on. And, Nikki is a hero, a trailblazer, a philanthropist herself. And her son, she's had a graphic designer that she's worked with on the books in her series up until now, but her son recently graduated with a degree in design from the University of Maryland. And he is going to be her illustrator and partner for the Peppermint's Pink Lemonade Stand book in the series. So I think education is a natural growth area for the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. We'd love to do more school-oriented work projects, speaking at school, encouraging schools themselves to do a Pink Lemonade Stands. So Bryn did one at her high school this past October. She did one in her middle school when she was there. A local elementary school in our school district worked with us to host a Pink Lemonade Stand poster party at the school. So this is a purely educational. It's not fundraising oriented. We go into the school or any of our volunteers. We talk to the students about the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge, about breast cancer, so education generally. And the students have an opportunity to make a poster and learn about the initiative. And then, of course, if they want to use that poster then to make a Pink Lemonade Stand of their own in their neighborhood, that would be encouraged, but not required. There's no donation component, although sometimes the parents do make a donation. We've done that at camps. We've done it at schools. We've done it just as part of a Pink Lemonade Stand, but that's just a purely educational component. I know I've said before, but we need to be able to talk about breast cancer. And it's always been, when I was a kid, you didn't even say that word. It was cancer. So, and because it affects the breast, I think some adults are afraid to talk about it with kids, but my kids were in school when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. All of the patients that you have worked with and focused on in your documentary are moms. So we need to talk about it with students. We need to talk about it in schools. Kids whose families are impacted by breast cancer, which is almost everyone. They're hearing these words. They should have the chance to understand what it's about. And they should have the opportunity to contribute in some way and have a positive impact. After we were on the Today Show, I got a call from a director of a camp in Dallas.
Wow.
It was a camp for students in the summer, underprivileged students who, may not have the opportunity to participate in some summer activities that, more fortunate kids do. And she called me and said she wanted to have her students do a Pink Lemonade Stand and make posters.
Amazing.
And I said, that's amazing. What made you think of this? Or, is that something that you typically do? And the director of the program said, I know these are kids who are often the recipients of charitable donations and work. But, they need to know that they too can contribute, that they're not only the recipients, that they can make a difference, that they can have an impact and help others.
They have that.
Yes, exactly. That they can be empowered. So I was really moved by that. And that also informs, our efforts. So I think that just in terms of those kinds of expansions, it's just a question of resources and time. And so I'm always, debating. I think that maybe the next phase 2 is we'll maybe apply for some grant funding, because those programs require funds and resources. So we would have to work on that, but it's definitely in the concept stage for next phase. Also having college and high school clubs and organizations focused on breast cancer research efforts that are, Pink Lemonade themed. The nice thing about the Pink Lemonade theme is it has so many meanings, because, making lemonade out of lemons is a way to turn like sort of bad news into good news. I think the colors, the pink and yellow colors, are sort of happy colors. And it's a way to think about a really, really tough subject in a hopeful way.
I love that. You just leave me speechless. You're so empowering and so just like impactful. And it needs to be also that you go around and give like keynote speeches or something like that. Like you need to be the keynote speaker.
Well, no one has invited me to the
I think
keynote speak, but I want to say on your podcast that I am available for keynote speaking. Someone wants to call me.
yes, that is amazing.
I would love to get in touch.
Yes. And okay, get in touch. How can people get in touch with you? Get in touch with the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge? How can they reach out and be a part?
Well, we have a website, and it is www.pinklemonadestandchallenge.org. Our email address is pinklemonadestandchallenge@gmail.com. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, Kimberly Rhodes, Rhodes. And so LinkedIn is a great way to reach me, message me on LinkedIn. And then does your podcast have a presence? You can, list me in, in the notes, in the comments, or, on your social media. We also have social media platforms. We have Instagram at Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. We have a TikTok. I don't know how to use TikTok. But Bryn is 16 and she is a TikTok maven. So we have a lot of content on TikTok that either Bryn has created or our college student interns have created. And then we have a Facebook, of course, and we have LinkedIn profile, Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge.
That is amazing. So they can go on the website, create a stand. What if colleges are listening and saying, you know what, I want our students to be involved?
Well, that's great. Well, first of all, of course, yes, all of the information on how to make a stand are available on our website. It has a full list of instructions. It has a checklist so you can know that you brought everything. It invites you to contact us if you want us to call local news, and that's already happened. So the women's lacrosse team at the University of Massachusetts made a Pink Lemonade Stand. It was on the news in Vermont. Students at UVM made a Pink Lemonade Stand. There's been a Pink Lemonade Stand at the University of Georgia. On the news, you can find a story about Lafayette College's Pink Lemonade Stand. They've done it 3 times. And there's one sorority at Lafayette College who has had multiple interns who have participated and been part of our internship program. So if you're a college student and you're interested, you can make a stand and find all the information on our website, but also you can apply to work with us as a volunteer college intern. It's a 5 to 10 hour a week commitment from the time school ends until the time school starts, which is probably like May 15th to August 15th. And you can apply. You can find a post for the position on Handshake, which is the posting system for jobs. It's like an Indeed that all universities used. And the position is posted on Handshake. And in addition, of course, you can find information about it on our LinkedIn page. And I often post it on my own LinkedIn page to let students know. And then, of course, clubs at schools. The University of Notre Dame had a Pink Lemonade Stand. That's a whole story, and part of the reason that we got involved with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jerome Bettis is a Hall of Fame NFL player who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Super Bowl champions. And Jerome was turning 50. And this is what he publicly said. He said, I'm going back to the University of Notre Dame because I left as a junior when I was drafted into the NFL. And my mom, Gladys, always wanted me to finish college. So I'm going back to college and I'm going to finish at Notre Dame. So I read a story about that. I also learned that Jerome's mom was a breast cancer survivor, and he is involved with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. He is a board member. So I reached out to Jerome and said, if the students at Notre Dame were to make a Pink Lemonade Stand benefiting the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, would you consider stopping by? I sent it to his Gmail account. I wasn't even sure it was his account, and I didn't think I would hear back. And he wrote back and said, I would love to. So, P.S., the students at Notre Dame in 2023, I think, 2023, the students at Notre Dame made a Pink Lemonade Stand on campus on a day that Jerome was there taking classes, because he did finish at the University of Notre Dame and received a degree before he turned 50. And he stopped by And we had reached out to let the, news stations in South Bend know that, a local hero, champion, Hall of Famer was going to be on campus at Notre Dame supporting an important cause, and 4 stations came out and covered the story. So that was our connection to the Steelers as well. So Jerome serves on the board with City Citron, and Jerome was at the Steelers stand and gave away pink lemonade as a volunteer for the Pink Lemonade Challenge. So that's how we set the world record.
That is amazing.
It was amazing. So yeah, so college campuses have been involved, and if students want to get involved, they can serve as an intern. They can do a pink lemonade stand on campus. A lot of sororities have been involved. We had one fraternity at UVM worked with a sorority and make a pink lemonade stand. Some sports teams have made pink lemonade stands. Cross country team at University of Georgia, the women's lacrosse team at University of Massachusetts. And then at Notre Dame, it was multiple different student clubs who got involved. I think that, especially in it's sometimes not, at Whitworth College, the men's baseball team and the student activities organization made a pink lemonade stand this year and last year. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for students in colleges to work with us.
Amazing. Lemonade stand challenge.
Exactly.
You have to type in, you can create a stand, students reach out. You are going to help the goal, because this is all of our goal, to be the end
of breast cancer.
Like Ms. Kim said, we have all been affected, whether we've been affected personally, our family members have been affected, we've heard somebody on TV. Shoot, now, the protagonist on a TV show has breast cancer. It's being talked about all over. So
and the truth is, Mia, if you haven't been impacted by breast cancer, unfortunately, the odds are overwhelming that, I'm not saying you'll be diagnosed. For instance, if you're a man, your chances are much, much smaller. But the chances that someone that you care about will, be diagnosed with breast cancer are very, very high. Whenever I speak to a group of students or any group gathered and ask the question, do you know anyone who's been impacted by breast cancer? Literally 90% of the hands go up.
You heard her. Reach out to her on LinkedIn, Kimberly Rhodes.
Please.
Stand challenge on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Go to the website, create a stand. This is community-based. This is life-saving.
That's one of our hashtags. Take the challenge, make a stand, be the end.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Together, we can be the end of breast cancer.
Absolutely. And this is the goal. When everybody listens to this podcast, they better say they heard it here, so that you know that they listen. Listen, we have friends in Switzerland. We have friends in Germany. We need to make a stand out there too, globally, internationally, all over the world. So we
exactly.
can be all over.
It can be an event that has a pink lemonade stand theme, right? Or a pink lemonade theme. It doesn't have to be the exact model that we've set up. So we had a Pedal for Pink event at my gym. I'm also a fitness instructor. And that had a pink lemonade theme. It can be any gathering of friends. It can be games. It can be really anything. It doesn't have to be a pink lemonade stand. So if you live in Germany or the UK and lemonade stands are not a thing, it can be the theme of any event that you decide to host that's a fundraiser for breast cancer research.
I love that. Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge, Kimberly Rhodes. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Oh,
flash the ribbon, everybody.
Flash the ribbon. Making the breast cancer ribbon with my arms.
Yes.
That's our signature move.
Yes, amazing. Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge. Don't forget it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.